channel trading. I will be repeating myself a little bit here, but please bear with me. This is very important. That's why I want to emphasize a few more details and to make sure that you have understood me from the previous lessons. Now, there will be many situations where you will be trading in a channel, meaning that there will be a strong support and resistance levels, key levels in the daily chart or maybe even in the hourly chart, and these levels might be relevant for days, weeks, and sometimes even months. So you will find yourself confined in a channel. Now, does it mean that you shouldn't be trading? Of course not. This is a fantastic time for trading, and the key levels work really nicely, and you'll be fascinated how easy it is to make money with key levels. And when you have just two important key levels in, for example, daily or the hourly chart, and they keep working for days, weeks, or months, and you keep using them and making money off of the same two or even one level for an extended period of time. But there are a few things that you must keep in mind when you do that. These things are simple, and I did mention them in one way or the other, but this lesson I want to devote it to these details. Now, being squeezed in between two important levels, being in a channel, as you can see here in the daily chart that I have right here and the hourly chart that I have right here. Now, finally, we broke out of this channel. However, we still might be going back into it. Who knows? I cannot predict the market movement so much that what's going to happen to these levels in the next days, weeks, or months. All I can see right now is that the 4-hour chart, we came back to the support level, and we are not going through. So this level is actually, so far, it looks like it is still very relevant. We might actually have a false break up right now, and then might be going powerfully down. Maybe not, but we'll see. Now, as for this channel, you can see that this channel we did look at it a few lessons back, and we did see that the range was quite nice. So when you are for days, weeks, or sometimes rarely, but sometimes even months in a channel where somebody is gathering a big position, what should you be watching out for? Now, it is extremely important to watch out for the range, the one that we spoke about in one of the previous lessons. But the range is, well, one thing is when you are trading from a level, this actual key level, and you need at least 1-to-3 ratio, which of course means that you should at least have a channel which is in total 1-to-4 ratio. And this one small difference from 1-to-3 to 1-to-4 ratio is simply for safety. As I've said before, do not expect to take the whole range of the channel. And you at least should, if you're trading 1-to-3 ratio, which once again is a minimum, then you at least should have a channel which is 1-to-4, so that you have this reserve and don't expect to take the whole range and don't have your take profit right on the next level. That can be quite challenging. Therefore, you have to have room, and the market must have room to play around. But what I wanted to discuss in this lesson is the ratio that you must have for the channel when you're trading inside the channel. So you're doing some channel trading inside the channel, meaning that, for example, if you have a daily chart channel, the powerful one like you see here in my left screen, now there will be many other levels from 5-minute chart, 15-minute chart, hourly chart within this channel. And this is the tricky part, because a lot of people make a mistake of trading the channel, which is a good channel. I mean, it's 1-to-4 ratio, but they trade it from the middle. So the range to the next level, if you trade it from the middle, becomes 1-to-2, not 1-to-4. So this is extremely important. When you are doing channel trades inside the channel and you're maybe trading from an hourly level or even a 5-minute level, there still are some nice 5-minute levels. you must make sure that your channel is going to be at least 1:8 ratio. So you need at least twice the size of the channel if you're trading in the middle of the channel. Now, I prefer to trade from powerful daily or hourly levels, and I try not to bother myself with trading some really small time frame levels. And if I see a really powerful channel like this, there almost every day will be 1 or 2 or 3 potential entries from these levels. So I try not to confuse myself and not have the spaghetti all over the chart with a bunch of levels, as I've said before. But if I do trade, and I still do, trade the middle of the channel, which is still a lot more dangerous, simply because a lot of power is concentrated at those daily key levels. And that's where you can expect the most of the movement. In the middle of the channel, oftentimes even having a nice 5-minute level, the expectation must be a lot smaller. If you can expect the daily level to give you 100 or 200 points into plus, and the channel is, let's say, 150 or 300 points, if you're taking the 5-minute entry, I mean the 5-minute level, and you're trading from it, you should not expect these kinds of moves. And remember this classification of the power and expectation from different sizes and types of levels, meaning the 5-minute level, the 15-minute level, and the hourly and the daily. And remember that the daily is the most important and the strongest and most used and the most valuable. So yes, remember, if you're trading in the middle of the channel or somewhere around the middle of a powerful channel, like we see an example here, then please, the range should be at least 1:8, so that you don't make these common mistakes of trading a 1-4 channel. The whole channel is 1-4, and you're trading from the middle of that channel. Remember, that becomes 1-2. I know that this is very simple, but you would be amazed how many people make this kind of a stupid, simple, but deadly mistake. Remember that in a tiny channel, there might be a strong limit player, which is a good thing. But when the channel is very, very small, then this is an epicenter of the battle between the buyer and the seller, and the price is being squeezed and the fight is going on. And you can be ripped apart in that fight. So don't jump into a dog fight. You know, imagine having 2 dogs or 5 dogs fighting in between each other and you're just jumping into the action. That's not really a good idea, is it? So the same thing goes for really tiny channels. When you see the strong, vivid limit player and it's tempting to trade it, and I understand, and you will be tempted to trade it because it looks quite nice and quite structurized. However, keep your fingers away from really small channels. They can be very dangerous. But don't get me wrong, and write this down in your notes, that for the beginning, once you'll have a lot of experience, you'll know what the levels are, and you'll be super, super confident in what you're doing, then knock yourself out and trade it, because I do. But I just want to prevent you from jumping into too difficult of an action in the very, very beginning. Remember the psychology. Even a few days of negative trading with too many things and too complicated approach might devastate your psychology, and you might become afraid of trading. So take care of that and make sure you see the really tiny channels, and please don't trade them in the very beginning, especially with money. And one last thing that you must keep track of when you're trying to trade a channel and you're channel trading, the ratio is one thing, and the rules are also important, all the other rules that I've been teaching you. But the ratio, there are 2 most important things in the channel when you're trying to channel trade. And if you neglect either one of them, you will be, you'll have quite a hard time trading, and your trading career might end a lot sooner than you expect. And those 2 most important things for the channel trade are, number 1, the ratio that we just spoke about, and number 2, the ATR. Make sure that the ratio to the next expected level, so the next expected slowdown of the market, is at least 1-4, and the ATR is not more than 50%. That's it for this lesson. Please don't forget about the test, and there will be no homework. So I'll see you in the next lesson.